Hi everybody, today I'll be showing you my tomato soup recipe. This recipe will guarantee you say goodbye to that tomato soup can. Let's get started. Let's start this recipe by dicing a yellow onion about the size of the palm of your hand. Onions are a wonderful addition to the soup because it provides such great aromatic flavors. Once you're done cutting the onion, put it aside. Now on to our second aromatic flavor of the day, garlic. We peel, crush, and dice 2 cloves of garlic. Once you're done, put the garlic aside. Do you believe we're done with the chopping for this recipe? Now to make this recipe real quick and simple, we're going to grab 2 cans of diced Italian tomatoes. Try to get the Italian type from the supermarket because it'll make your soup taste super better. I used a total of 800 grams or 28 ounces of diced Italian tomatoes here. Now let's make our way to the stove. Add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter, then turn your heat to medium-high. I use butter in this recipe because it just brings out the tomato taste even more. Now add the onions that we chopped from before and saute the onions for about 5 to 6 minutes until they turn translucent, like this. Then add your garlic from before. Saute the garlic for about 1 minute or until it's fragrant. Make sure you don't burn the garlic. Here comes the fun part. Let's add our 2 cans of Italian diced tomato into the soup. I wouldn't recommend you use fresh tomatoes for this recipe because you wouldn't be able to control how ripe your tomatoes are. Now let's add some flavor to this soup. Add about 1 cup of chicken stock. For my vegetarian friends, feel free to use vegetable broth. Now add 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. We add sugar to this soup to help combat the acidity of the tomatoes. Bring your soup to a boil and give it a good stir. Once you got your soup to a boil, cover it with a lid. Immediately bring your soup down to a simmer on low heat and simmer it for about 10 minutes. It'll look like this once it's done. Alright, let's move over to the blender. Add your soup to the blender. Now be extra careful with this step since your soup will be boiling hot. Just take your time on this part because we don't want any splatters. Now take out the plastic middle of your blender lid like this. Put the lid onto the blender and grab a tea towel to put on top of the hole of the blender lid. Here you can see me being extra safe by putting an oven mitt over my hand. Press down firmly on the lid and start blending. Keep your hand on the lid the entire time you are blending. Look at that beautiful texture of the soup. Now back to our soup pot. Pour your soup back in the pot and bring it back to a boil. Once you got your soup to a boil, add about 1/4 cup of heavy cream. This will make your soup so luxurious. Then add about 1/4 cup of parmesan into your soup. This adds a little je ne sais quoi, as the French say, into your tomato soup. Turn off the heat and stir everything all together. Now for the very last step, have a quick taste of your soup and see if you have the seasoning right. My tomato soup was quite bland and I had to add about a teaspoon of salt to it. With vegetable soups, you just have to make sure you season it appropriately for the taste of the soup to come to life. This recipe makes a total of 4 servings. If you like to make 8 servings, feel free to double the recipe. Now let me show you how to serve your soup extra fancy. Give your tomato soup a light drizzle of some heavy cream just to add that beautiful color contrast. Then add some parmesan on top just to deepen the flavors. And finish it off with some freshly chopped basil and a sprinkle of pepper. And there you have it, your own homemade tomato soup. Serve it with some grilled cheese for the absolute perfect pairing. Enjoy! I hope you can say goodbye to your canned tomato soup with this recipe. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more quick and simple recipes like this.